The invasion begins. Admiral Zixlor stood on the bridge of the Galactic Confederation's flagship, the Starweaver, his 4 eyes fixed on the holographic display before him. The alien commander's tentacles twitched with a mixture of confusion and irritation as he watched the scene unfolding on the planet below. "Report," he barked, his translator converting the clicks and whistles of his native tongue into the standard galactic common. A junior officer, a bipedal insectoid named Crick-Tick, approached with a datapad. "Sir, the humans have launched their attack on Vermilion Prime, but it's not what we expected." Zixlor's upper eyes narrowed. "Explain." Crick-Tick's antennae quivered nervously. "Well, sir, they're not dropping soldiers or bombs. They're dropping animals." "Animals," Zixlor repeated, incredulous. "Yes, sir. Specifically, creatures called pigs. They're quadrupedal mammals, primarily used by humans for food production." The Admiral's tentacles curled in bewilderment. "Are you telling me that instead of an invasion force, the humans are bombarding us with their livestock?" "That appears to be the case, sir." Zixlor turned back to the holographic display, watching as hundreds of drop pods rained down on the lush, purple forests of Vermilion Prime. The pods burst open upon impact, releasing their porcine cargo onto the alien world. "This must be some kind of trick," Zixlor muttered. "Scan those animals for any signs of cybernetic enhancement or biological weaponry." The crew bustled about, running various scans and analyses on the invading pigs. Minutes ticked by as Zixlor impatiently awaited the results. Finally, Crick-Tick approached again. "Sir, we've completed our scans. The pigs appear to be just pigs. No enhancements, no hidden weapons, not even any significant genetic modifications." Zixlor's tentacles writhed in frustration. "That's impossible. The humans wouldn't waste resources on such a pointless gesture. There must be something we're missing." As if on cue, a communication channel opened, and the face of General Ava Chen of the Human Alliance appeared on the main view screen. Her expression was neutral, but there was a glint of amusement in her eyes. "Admiral Zixlor," she said, her voice calm and measured, "I trust our opening move has caught your attention." Zixlor bristled. "If this is your idea of psychological warfare, General Chen, I assure you it's ineffective. We are not intimidated by your farm animals." Chen's lips twitched in the barest hint of a smile. "Intimidation was never our goal, Admiral. We simply thought Vermilion Prime could use some new residents. Consider it a gift from Earth." "A gift?" Zixlor sputtered. "You're violating Galactic Confederation territory." "With pigs," Chen replied smoothly. "Hardly an act of war, wouldn't you agree? After all, they're unarmed and quite harmless. I'm sure your mighty warships and advanced weaponry can handle a few thousand pigs." Zixlor's tentacles coiled tightly. "What is your game, human? What do you hope to accomplish with this Pigfall?" Chen's expression remained impassive. "Game? There's no game, Admiral. We're simply introducing a new species to Vermilion Prime. Pigs are highly adaptable creatures. I'm sure they'll thrive in their new home." With that, the communication channel closed, leaving Zixlor staring at a blank screen, his mind reeling from the absurdity of the situation. "Sir," Crick-Tick ventured cautiously, "what are your orders?" Zixlor turned to his crew, all of whom were watching him expectantly. He realized that in all his years of military service, no training had prepared him for an invasion of pigs. "Monitor the situation closely," he finally said. "I want reports on the pigs' movements, their impact on the local ecosystem, everything. And get me our top xenobiologists. I want to know everything there is to know about these pigs and what they might be capable of." As the crew scrambled to carry out his orders, Zixlor turned back to the holographic display. He watched as the pigs, now numbering in the thousands, began to explore their new surroundings. Some rooted in the soil, others wallowed in purple mud, while others still began to munch on the local vegetation. It all seemed so harmless, so absurd. Yet, Zixlor couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of something much larger. The humans were crafty, known for their unpredictable strategies and innovative thinking. This Pigfall had to be part of a greater plan. But what could it be? What possible advantage could the humans gain by dropping pigs onto an alien world? As the first Vermilion-day cycle came to an end, Zixlor found himself no closer to answers. The pigs continued their seemingly innocent exploration of their new home, oblivious to the political and military implications of their presence. Little did Zixlor know, this was indeed just the beginning. The true impact of the Pigfall was yet to be revealed, and it would change the course of the conflict in ways that neither the Galactic Confederation nor the Human Alliance could have predicted. As night fell on Vermilion Prime, the sound of oinking echoed through the alien forests, a prelude to the chaos that was about to unfold. Unintended consequences. 3 months had passed since the initial Pigfall, and Vermilion Prime was changing. Admiral Zixlor stood before the Galactic Confederation High Council, his tentacles twitching nervously as he prepared to deliver his report. "Esteemed council members," he began, "the situation on Vermilion Prime has evolved in unexpected ways." The council chamber, a vast amphitheater filled with representatives from 100 different species, buzzed with murmurs. Zixlor activated a holographic display, showing a map of Vermilion Prime's main continent. As you can see, the pigs have spread across 60% of the habitable landmass. Their population has increased exponentially, far beyond our initial projections. A counselor from the methane-breathing Gashans raised a tendril. Are they still just pigs? No hidden enhancements or weapons? Zixlor's upper eyes blinked in confirmation. Yes, counselor. Our continuous scans have detected no artificial modifications. However, the impact of their presence has been significant. The holographic display shifted, showing time-lapse footage of Vermilion Prime's purple forests. The council watched in stunned silence as vast swathes of vegetation disappeared, replaced by muddy wallows and barren earth. The pigs' rooting behavior has decimated large areas of native flora, Zixlor explained. This has led to soil erosion, changes in local weather patterns, and the displacement of numerous native species. Another counselor, a crystalline being from the silicon-based Quartzians, chimed in. Surely our forces can handle a few animals. Why haven't they been eliminated? Zixlor's tentacles curled in embarrassment. We've tried, counselor. Conventional weapons have proven ineffective due to the pigs' rapid reproduction rate and their uncanny ability to evade our targeting systems. Moreover, the use of large-scale weaponry risks further damage to Vermilion Prime's already fragile ecosystem. The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, each expressing disbelief and concern. Zixlor waited for the noise to subside before continuing. There's more, he said, his voice grave. We've observed adaptations. The holographic display changed again, showing close-up images of the pigs. The council leaned forward, their diverse array of sensory organs focused intently on the display. These pigs are evolving at an unprecedented rate, Zixlor explained. Some have developed thicker, more durable skin, resistant to our low-power laser weapons. Others have shown increased intelligence, demonstrating problem-solving skills that rival some sentient species. He paused, allowing the implications to sink in. We believe the unique radiation from Vermilion Prime's binary stars, combined with trace elements in the soil, has accelerated their evolution. The head of the council, a towering, ethereal being known as the Overseer, spoke for the first time. Admiral Zixlor, are you suggesting that these pigs pose a genuine threat to our control of Vermilion Prime? Zixlor's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of deep discomfort in his species. Overseer, I believe the threat extends beyond Vermilion Prime. We've detected unusual energy signatures from several pig populations. Our scientists theorize that some of the pigs may be developing telekinetic abilities. The council chamber exploded into chaos. Accusations of incompetence were hurled at Zixlor, while others called for immediate, drastic action. The overseer raised all 6 of its arms, calling for silence. "Admiral," the overseer said, its voice resonating with authority, "what do the humans say about this situation?" Zixlor's tentacles drooped. "They claim ignorance, overseer. General Chen insists that this was an unforeseen consequence of their gift to Vermilion Prime. They've offered to send experts to help us manage the pig population, but you suspect ulterior motives," the overseer finished. "Yes, overseer. The humans are known for their cunning. This could be an elaborate ploy to gain a foothold on Vermilion Prime." The overseer was silent for a long moment, its luminous form pulsing gently as it contemplated the situation. Finally, it spoke. "We cannot discount the possibility that the humans engineered this crisis, nor can we ignore the very real threat these evolving pigs pose to Vermilion Prime and potentially to the wider Galactic Confederation." The overseer turned its attention to the rest of the council. "We must act decisively. I propose a 2-pronged approach. First, we will redouble our efforts to contain and control the pig population using all means at our disposal, short of rendering Vermilion Prime uninhabitable." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the council chamber. "Second," the overseer continued, "we will accept the humans' offer of assistance." This pronouncement was met with shocked gasps and outraged exclamations. The overseer raised its arms again, calling for calm. "We will allow a small team of human experts to join our efforts on Vermilion Prime. This will serve 2 purposes. We may benefit from their expertise in managing these creatures, and we will be able to closely monitor their activities, potentially uncovering their true motives." Zixlor's tentacles twisted anxiously. "Overseer, with all due respect, allowing humans on Vermilion Prime could be seen as a sign of weakness. It might encourage further incursions." The overseer's form pulsed with a soft, reassuring light. "Your concern is noted, Admiral. However, this crisis has exposed vulnerabilities in our defenses and our ability to adapt to unexpected threats. We must learn from this experience, and yes, that may mean swallowing our pride and accepting help from our adversaries." The overseer addressed the entire council once more. "Let this be a lesson to us all. The universe is vast and full of surprises. Our strength lies not in our technology or our military might, but in our ability to adapt, to learn, and when necessary, to cooperate." As the council session adjourned, Zixlor couldn't shake a feeling of unease. The pigs had already changed Vermilion Prime in ways he could never have imagined. What other surprises did the humans have in store? And how would the introduction of human experts to Vermilion Prime alter the delicate balance of this interstellar conflict? As he prepared to return to his beleaguered command on Vermilion Prime, Zixlor realized that the true battle, a battle of wits, adaptability, and unforeseen consequences, was only just beginning. Human ingenuity revealed. The Vermilion Prime spaceport bustled with activity as the human delegation's shuttle touched down. Admiral Zixlor watched from a safe distance, his tentacles twitching with a mixture of anticipation and dread. As the shuttle's doors hissed open, a small team of humans emerged, led by a tall, dark-skinned woman with close-cropped hair and piercing green eyes. "Admiral Zixlor," she said, approaching with an outstretched hand. "I'm Dr. Amara Okafor, lead xenobiologist and head of the Human Assistance Team. It's a pleasure to meet you." Zixlor regarded the offered hand warily before reluctantly extending a tentacle to shake it. "Welcome to Vermilion Prime, Dr. Okafor. I trust you understand the gravity of the situation we face." Dr. Okafor nodded, her expression serious. "Indeed, Admiral. We've reviewed your reports, and I must say, the rapid evolution of the pigs is fascinating from a scientific standpoint. Of course, we understand the ecological disaster it presents." As they walked towards the command center, Zixlor couldn't help but notice the humans' apparent eagerness to help. It made him even more suspicious of their true motives. Inside the command center, holographic displays showed real-time data on the pig population and their impact on Vermilion Prime's ecosystem. Dr. Okafor and her team studied the information intently, occasionally whispering among themselves. "Well, Doctor," Zixlor prompted, "what do you make of this?" Dr. Okafor turned to face the Admiral, her eyes gleaming with what looked like excitement. "Admiral, what we're seeing here is unprecedented. The pigs aren't just adapting. They're evolving at a rate that defies conventional understanding of genetics." One of Zixlor's junior officers, a young Quartzian named Silica, spoke up. "But how is this possible? And more importantly, how do we stop it?" Dr. Okafor smiled, and for a moment, Zixlor thought he saw a flicker of something. Pride, perhaps, in her eyes. "To answer that, we need to understand why this is happening. Admiral, may I have access to your soil sample data?" Zixlor hesitated, then nodded to Silica, who brought up the relevant information on a nearby screen. Dr. Okafor studied it intently, her fingers dancing over the holographic interface as she cross-referenced it with data from her own devices. "Just as I suspected," she murmured. "The combination of Vermilion Prime's unique radiation and soil composition is acting as a catalyst for rapid genetic mutation. But there's something else." She trailed off, her brow furrowed in concentration. Zixlor's patience was wearing thin. "Doctor, we don't have time for scientific curiosity. We need solutions." Dr. Okafor looked up, her expression suddenly serious. "Admiral, I think it's time we were honest with each other. The pig's presence on Vermilion Prime was no accident, nor was it a simple act of ecological warfare." The room fell silent, all eyes and sensory organs focused on the human scientist. Zixlor's tentacles coiled tightly, prepared for the worst. "Explain," he demanded. Dr. Okafor took a deep breath. "The pigs were engineered, not in the conventional sense of genetic modification, but in their selection and preparation for this environment." She gestured to the data displays. "We chose a specific breed of pig known for its hardiness and adaptability. Before they were sent here, they were subjected to controlled radiation exposure and fed a diet rich in elements we knew would be present in Vermilion Prime soil." Zixlor's four eyes blinked rapidly, processing this information. "You mean to say this entire crisis was planned?" Dr. Okafor nodded. "In a way, yes, but not with the intent you might think. Admiral, humanity has been searching for ways to terraform harsh environments for centuries. Vermilion Prime presented an opportunity to test a radical new approach by unleashing an ecological disaster on our world." Silica interjected, her crystalline form vibrating with indignation. "By introducing a species capable of rapid adaptation and environmental modification," Dr. Okafor corrected. "The pigs are not the end goal, Admiral. They're the first stage in a complex process of planetary transformation." Zixlor's mind reeled. Transformation? Into what? Dr. Okafor's eyes shone with enthusiasm. "Into a world that could support a wide variety of life forms, including humans and many species of the Galactic Confederation. The pigs are breaking down Vermilion Prime's native flora, altering soil composition, and paving the way for the introduction of other, more diverse species." She turned to the holographic displays, bringing up new simulations. If managed correctly, within a few decades, Vermilion Prime could become one of the most biodiverse and habitable planets in this sector of the galaxy. The room erupted into a cacophony of voices, some expressing outrage, others fascination. Zixlor raised his tentacles, calling for silence. "Doctor," he said, his voice low and dangerous, "you're telling me that humanity used our world, without permission, for some grand terraforming experiment?" Dr. Okafor met his gaze steadily. "We used a contested world, Admiral, to demonstrate a technology that could benefit all spacefaring species. Imagine being able to transform barren, inhospitable planets into thriving ecosystems. The implications for exploration, colonization, and reducing interstellar conflicts over habitable worlds are enormous." Zixlor felt a headache building behind his four eyes. The audacity, The sheer scale of human ingenuity and recklessness on display was overwhelming. Yet he couldn't deny the potential benefits of such technology. "And the pig's apparent telekinetic abilities?" he asked. Dr. Okafor smiled. "An unexpected but fascinating development. We believe it's a result of the unique energy fields present on Vermilion Prime. With further study, it could lead to breakthroughs in our understanding of cognitive evolution and psychic phenomena." Zixlor turned away, his tentacles writhing as he contemplated the implications of all he had learned. The humans hadn't just dropped pigs on their world. They had unleashed a cascade of changes that could reshape the future of interstellar relations and planetary development. As he gazed out at the transformed landscape of Vermilion Prime, Zixlor realized that the true invasion wasn't one of pigs or even humans. It was an invasion of ideas, of a radical new approach to shaping the very worlds upon which countless species lived. The question now was, how would the Galactic Confederation respond to this revelation? And what other surprises did humanity have in store for the cosmos? As if reading his thoughts, Dr. Okafor spoke softly behind him. "Admiral, this is just the beginning. We're prepared to share this technology, to work together in shaping the future of our galaxy. All we ask is the opportunity to prove its value." Zixlor turned back to face the human scientist, his mind racing with the possibilities and dangers that lay ahead. "Dr. Okafor," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of decision, "I believe it's time we had a very long, very detailed discussion about the future of Vermilion Prime, and perhaps the future of interspecies cooperation." As the human and alien delegations gathered around the holographic displays, the first seeds of a new era of galactic terraforming and cooperation were sown, all thanks to a seemingly absurd invasion of pigs. Counterattack and complications. The news of humanity's grand terraforming experiment spread through the Galactic Confederation like wildfire. Reactions ranged from outrage to cautious interest, with many species seeing the potential benefits of such technology. However, not everyone was willing to embrace this radical new approach. Admiral Zixlor found himself caught in the middle of a galactic diplomatic storm. As he prepared for yet another video conference with the Confederation High Council, he couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The holographic projector hummed to life, revealing the imposing figure of the Overseer, flanked by representatives from a dozen different species. "Admiral," the Overseer's resonant voice filled the room, "we've reviewed the information provided by the human delegation. The implications are troubling." Zixlor's tentacles twitched nervously. "Overseer, if I may." "You may not." The Overseer cut him off. "Your failure to prevent this incursion, and your willingness to cooperate with the humans, has raised serious concerns about your judgment." A new voice chimed in. "Krax, the militant representative of the silicon-based Quartzians. This is nothing short of an act of war. The humans have violated our sovereignty and upset the balance of power in the sector. We must retaliate immediately." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the council. Zixlor felt his heart sink. "With all due respect," he interjected, "the potential benefits of this technology are irrelevant." Krax interrupted. "We cannot allow the humans to dictate the terms of planetary development in our space. The Quartzian fleet stands ready to neutralize the human threat on Vermilion Prime and any other worlds they may have contaminated." The Overseer's form pulsed with a soft light, a sign of deep contemplation. "While I share your concerns, Representative Krax, we must proceed cautiously. A direct military confrontation with the humans could have far-reaching consequences." "Then what do you suggest?" Krax demanded. "A measured response," the Overseer replied. "Admiral Zixlor, you will inform the human delegation that they are to cease all activities on Vermilion Prime immediately. They will surrender all data and technology related to their terraforming experiment. Furthermore, they will assist in reversing the changes made to the planet's ecosystem." Zixlor felt a wave of relief wash over him, quickly followed by a pang of regret. The potential of the human technology was undeniable, but his duty was clear. "Understood, Overseer, I'll relay your demands to Dr. Okafor at once. As the transmission ended, Zixlor turned to find Dr. Amara Okafor standing in the doorway, her expression a mixture of disappointment and resolve. I take it the council was not receptive to our proposal, she said, her voice tinged with sadness. Zixlor's upper eyes blinked in confirmation. I'm afraid not, Doctor. The Confederation demands an immediate cessation of all activities and... He was cut off by a sudden tremor that shook the command center. Alarms blared as screens lit up with urgent reports. What's happening? Zixlor demanded, his tentacles flailing in agitation. A young Mercurian officer, her liquid metal form rippling with excitement, responded, Sir, we're detecting massive seismic activity across the planet. And, sir, you're not going to believe this, but the pigs are glowing. Dr. Okafor rushed to the nearest console, her fingers flying over the controls. This isn't possible, she muttered. The rate of mutation has increased exponentially. It's as if... Another violent tremor rocked the building. Outside, the sky darkened as storm clouds gathered with unnatural speed. Admiral, Dr. Okafor's voice was urgent. We need to evacuate. Now. Zixlor stared at her in disbelief. Evacuate. But the Council's orders will be irrelevant if we're all dead, she snapped. Something has gone terribly wrong with the pig's evolution. They're not just developing telekinetic abilities. They're manipulating the planet's crust, its atmosphere. Vermilion Prime itself is becoming an extension of their collective will. As if to punctuate her words, a bolt of purple lightning split the sky, striking a nearby building and reducing it to rubble. Zixlor made a split-second decision. Initiate emergency evacuation protocols. All personnel to shuttles immediately. Dr. Okafor, you and your team will come with us. As they raced through the corridors of the command center, the world outside descended into chaos. The once purple landscape was now a roiling sea of iridescent energy, punctuated by herds of glowing, levitating pigs. They reached the spaceport just as another tremor threatened to tear the ground apart. As shuttles began lifting off, Zixlor noticed a group of pigs approaching, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly intelligence. Doctor, he called out, look. Dr. Okafor turned, her eyes widening in amazement. The pigs had formed a perfect circle, their snouts pointed towards the center. As they watched, a shimmering portal began to form in the air above them. They're creating a wormhole, Dr. Okafor breathed. But how? And to where? There was no time to ponder these questions. Zixlor ushered the last of his staff and the human delegation onto a shuttle, casting one last glance at the incredible scene unfolding on the planet's surface. As their shuttle broke atmosphere, the view screens showed a planet in turmoil. Continents reshaped themselves as rivers of energy crisscrossed the surface. And everywhere, pigs, glowing, floating, reshaping reality itself. In orbit, the Confederation fleet hung motionless, clearly unsure how to respond to this unprecedented situation. Zixlor opened a channel to his flagship. This is Admiral Zixlor. Hold your fire. I repeat, hold your fire. We are witnessing something beyond our understanding. As the shuttles docked with the larger ships, Zixlor turned to Dr. Okafor. Doctor, I believe we're going to need your expertise more than ever. Whatever has happened down there, it's clear that humanity's experiment has taken a turn none of us could have predicted. Dr. Okafor nodded, her face a mask of determination. Admiral, I promise you, we'll figure this out. But we'll need to work together. Humans, Confederation, and perhaps... She glanced at a screen showing the transformed surface of Vermilion Prime, our newly evolved porcine friends as well. As the Confederation fleet prepared to depart, leaving behind a world transformed beyond recognition, Zixlor couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history. The pigs of Vermilion Prime had become something more, something that could reshape the very fabric of space and time. The game had changed, and the stakes were higher than ever. As they plotted a course away from the chaos, Zixlor realized that the true challenge lay ahead, convincing the Galactic Confederation that cooperation, not conflict, was the key to navigating this brave new universe. Resolution and reflection. 6 months had passed since the evacuation of Vermilion Prime, and the galaxy was still reeling from the implications of what had transpired. The Galactic Confederation's capital world, Harmonix, buzzed with activity as representatives from every member species gathered for an unprecedented summit. Admiral Zixlor stood at the podium, his tentacles uncharacteristically still as he addressed the assembled dignitaries. Beside him stood Dr. Amara Okafor, representing the human delegation, and a holographic projection of the Overseer. Esteemed colleagues, Zixlor began, his voice amplified throughout the vast chamber. We stand at a crossroads in galactic history. The events on Vermilion Prime have forced us to confront realities we never imagined possible. He gestured to a holographic display showing the transformed planet. Vermilion Prime now pulsed with swirling energy patterns, its continents reshaped into intricate, fractal-like formations, and at the center of it all, a massive wormhole hung in the sky, a testament to the incredible power wielded by the evolved pigs. For the past 6 months, joint research teams from the Confederation and the Human Alliance have been studying Vermilion Prime from a safe distance. Dr. Okafor will present our findings. Dr. Okafor stepped forward, her eyes bright with excitement despite the gravity of the situation. Thank you, Admiral. What we've discovered is nothing short of revolutionary. The holographic display shifted, showing detailed scans of the planet and its new porcine inhabitants. The pigs of Vermilion Prime have evolved into a collective consciousness, Dr. Okafor explained. They've merged with the planet itself, creating a living, thinking world. The wormhole they've generated appears to be stable and controllable, potentially offering instant transportation to distant parts of the galaxy. Murmurs rippled through the audience. A Gashian representative spoke up, its voice bubbling through its methane atmosphere suit. Are you suggesting we attempt communication with these pig beings? Dr. Okafor nodded. We've already begun. Using a combination of advanced quantum entanglement communicators and psychic amplifiers, we've established limited contact. The beings remember their origins and express a desire for peaceful coexistence. The Quartzian representative, Krax, interjected angrily. Peaceful coexistence. They've stolen a Confederation world. Zixlor raised his tentacles for calm. Representative Krax, I understand your frustration, but we must consider the bigger picture. Vermilion Prime has become something entirely new, a sentient planet with the power to create stable wormholes. The strategic and scientific value is immeasurable. The Overseer's holographic form pulsed gently. Indeed, we stand on the brink of a new era of galactic exploration, and potentially, a new understanding of consciousness itself. Dr. Okafor continued. Moreover, our studies indicate that the transformation of Vermilion Prime may not be an isolated incident. The energy patterns we're detecting suggest that the wormhole could be part of a larger network, connecting to other worlds across the galaxy. This announcement sent shockwaves through the assembly. The implications were staggering. Instant travel between star systems, the potential for new forms of life and intelligence, and a complete reshaping of galactic politics and economy. Zixlor spoke again, his voice firm. In light of these discoveries, I propose the formation of a new joint initiative between the Galactic Confederation and the Human Alliance. Our goal will be to study, communicate with, and learn from the beings of Vermilion Prime, as well as to explore the wormhole network they've created. He paused, letting his words sink in. We stand at the threshold of a new age, an age where the lines between biology, technology, and cosmic forces blur. We have a choice: to embrace this new reality with open minds and united purpose, or to cling to our old fears and divisions. The chamber fell silent as the assembled representatives contemplated Zixlor's words. Finally, the Overseer spoke. Admiral Zixlor's proposal has merit. We will put it to a vote. But before we do, I wish to address our human colleagues. All eyes turned to the ethereal being as it continued. Months ago, we viewed your actions on Vermilion Prime as a violation of our sovereignty, a reckless experiment that spiraled out of control. Now we must acknowledge that your Pigfall has opened doors we never knew existed. The Overseer's form shimmered with what could only be described as humility. On behalf of the Galactic Confederation, I extend our gratitude for your ingenuity and our apologies for our initial hostile reaction. Let this be a lesson to us all. In the vastness of the cosmos, there is always room for surprise, for growth, and for cooperation. Dr. Okafor bowed her head in acknowledgement. We accept your apology, Overseer, and we look forward to working together in this new era. As the vote was called, Zixlor felt a sense of profound change sweeping through the chamber. Species that had been at odds for centuries were now engaged in excited discussion about the possibilities that lay ahead. The final tally appeared on the main display, an overwhelming majority in favor of the joint initiative. As the assembly erupted in a cacophony of cheers, whistles, and other alien expressions of approval, Zixlor turned to Dr. Okafor. "Well, Doctor," he said, a hint of amusement in his voice, "it seems your pig invasion has changed the course of galactic history." Dr. Okafor laughed. "Admiral, I don't think anyone could have predicted this outcome, but I'm glad we're facing it together." Zixlor's tentacles waved in agreement. "Indeed, though I must ask, are there any other Earth animals we should be wary of? Perhaps cows that can bend space-time, or chickens that generate antimatter?" As they shared a moment of levity amidst the historic occasion, Zixlor couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement for the future. The galaxy had been transformed, not by war or conquest, but by an act of seemingly random experimentation. From the humble pig had emerged a new form of cosmic life, a bridge between worlds, and a reminder that in the vast tapestry of the universe, even the smallest threads could weave great changes. As the newly formed joint initiative began its work, and ships prepared to embark on missions to explore the wormhole network, one thing became clear: the era of the Pigfall had only just begun, and its echoes would resonate across the stars for eons to come.